All right. Hi, everybody. Another reading. This time, we're going to tune in to the solar eclipse that happens this Friday, October 14th. And you can check your time zone, but for me, on the West Coast, it will be pretty much culminating around 11 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. So should we find out what this new moon solar eclipse in Libra has in store for us? I am very excited to see what the mystical magical message is, which is why I'm wearing this. It felt appropriate. Just feels like mystical, magical. The veils are thinning, 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 thinning. And that is a perfect time to deeply tune in to your deepest, most quietest wisdom. And this is a time to talk to the ancestors. This is a time to hmm, do some divination. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We're going to do a little bibliomancy, which I love. I love doing bibliomancy. That's when you choose a book. It could be any book. This one in particular, I love because it's a book of really beautiful, wise poems. And yeah, you just flip to a page with the intention of what does this new moon solar eclipse in Libra have for us? What message does it have for us? Okay, this is a little bit long. So, where do good decisions come from? A calm mind? How can you measure your peace? By how calm you stay during a storm? How do you know if you're attached to something? Because it creates tension in your mind. Where are the greatest revolutions fought and won? In the heart. Do you know why you are powerful? Because you can change the future. Mm. So, this little poem speaks of making good decisions, finding peace in the storm, releasing attachments that create tension in the mind, and that the heart is a neutral place where all duality dissolves. And this little bit about remembering why you are powerful. And you are powerful because your choices change the ripple of time and space. And everything that you do moves out in front of you and creates your reality. And then you're co-creating alongside everybody else the world that we live in. And so you are very powerful. So that is what this new moon, that's the beginning of this reading, the tippy of the iceberg. It feels really powerful. And especially right now, gosh, um, there is a lot being activated right now in terms of that part of the war being fought and it's won in the heart. And it's interesting because of, right now things happening in the world and that it's so important to remember to get back into your heart. And part of that is releasing releasing attachments to wanting to fight along, releasing attachments to any particular side. And I'm not just speaking about what's happening in the news, but I'm talking about across all versions of battles. You know, when we stop choosing the side and we fall into the middle, then both of those arguing pieces lose their teeth and just dissolve into neutrality. Because there's nothing left that is activating that battle further, if that makes sense. So this moon, wow, is coming in as a peacemaker, a liberator. It makes sense because it's in Libra. And Libras, if you know any Libras out there, really do have such a big heart and are usually fighting it, not fighting, because that's not the word I want to use today, but choose love. And Venus rules Libra. And so Libras tend to choose love. And that's why they're so dang lovable. So happy birthday to the Libras out there, you lovable bunch. And this moon is going to be super activated in your chart specifically. So take a peek and see where this new moon is happening in your chart. And you can dive in a little further about what battle, what have you been fighting for a long time that is starting to now lose its teeth. And you know, with what's going on in the news right now, I don't really even want to go into that, but that when we see really charged headlines, usually that is, you know, one of the talons trying to go in, trying to activate your emotions so that you feel like fighting. And one of the jobs right now that we're being shown by this beautiful peacemaker of a moon is to really release those talons and watch all these things dissolve. So, turn off the news and light a candle and sit and just beam your love out without agenda, without telling the love what to do and how to do it, because you know, it may not take the shape or form of something that you can immediately think of as desirable, but you know, your love has a ripple effect, and you have no idea the power of what happens when you send it out, you know, without telling it what to do and how to do its job. The healing is just healing, and what happens next is up to love and the people that are directly involved. So they each get to write their stories as well. So, on that note, that is a really beautiful beginning of the reading. So, we're going to pull from the Starseed Oracle. Actually, is that what we want to do? The Starseed Oracle? Because I'm very, very pulled to the heart of Faerie right now. I feel like the Faerie realm has a lot to say. Uh, this is this the cards? Let me find my Faerie cards. I have a little mushroom on them. I stitched that back when I think I was like 18 years old. Maybe 20. Yeah, because that's around when I got into all this. I was around 20 years old when I really got to decide what I wanted to buy with my money. And I ran out and bought my very first tarot deck and had no idea what on earth to do with it. And now here I am talking to fairies about the moon. So we'll just tune into the natural world because the moon is part of the natural world, and this light that's going to come down, this highly activated light from the ring that forms around the moon. Oh, three cards came out. Like I'm telling you, Faerie is very, very chatty right now. So let's go ahead and see. So we have Tink, I can't believe this. Are we straight up getting Tinkerbell? Are we getting Tinkerbell for this Libra solar eclipse? Oh my goodness. And Tink looks feisty, hands on the hips, staring straight at us with this light illuminated from her crown. All right, and then let's see the rest. The Elven Knight. The Elven Knight. And I apologize if my camera is blurry, guys, but it is kind of an ethereal, it's an ethereal horse that is, it looks very much like the surrounding that it's in. So it is part of the forest, but it's a knight riding on a horse with these huge electric kind of wings. And then the fairy of naughtiness, who looks an awful lot like Tink. I'm actually thinking this is still this archetype of the Tinkerbell. Oh my God, what am I even saying, guys? Oh my gosh. All right, so the fairy of naughtiness. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go ahead and read a little bit and see if that starts to percolate what these fairies are talking about. The Elven Knight, Tink, and the Fairy of Naughtiness. So we'll start with the Elven Knight. Enchantment, the call of fairy leadership. The Elven Knight summons us to heed the call of fairy. Oh, so like I said, I pulled these cards because I really was getting a strong feeling that the fairies had something to say. So heeding the call of the fairy realm. This is the male energy that can draw you deeper into the world beyond our own. The veils are very thin right now, so we're getting pulled even further through this this fine, fine mesh of veil that we have right now. Much of the energy in fairy is female, but there is a true balance of male energy there as well. The elven knight, the consort of the queen, can rule equally on this land. Proud and powerful, he rides through his domain, leading the fairies in a procession that can take them from their world into ours and back again. Ooh. So, with the veil thinning, we actually have that fairy fae energy moving in and out of our world and into theirs again. So, I almost see this as like bringing energy, bringing information and wisdom from beyond the whale, the veil, and lacing it into our realities right now through this portal of the eclipse. The trooping of the fairies is dangerous to witness, but the lure of it is almost irresistible, and we wish nothing more than to follow the call of the elven knight deep into his realm. The danger is that once we have followed in the wake of the troop, we will not want or even be able to return to our own world and will instead be lost forever in the land of fairy. That is interesting. So what I take from that is not losing yourself in this pull. And while it's talking about losing yourself in the realm of fairy, I feel that as like losing yourself in the fantasy, in that lust for wanting to be charged up and fight something, when really the entire point is to loosen the grip and not go down that slide of being activated and charged, and you lose yourself. So this is talking about stepping back into your power, into your leadership, not losing yourself in the fight, and actually remembering what being a leader is. So what is being a leader? Okay, so now we're going to talk to Tink. Tink, Tink, Tink. All right. curiouser and curiouser. Let's see what this is. Independence, freedom of expression, standing your ground. For goodness sake, stand up for yourself. This is what Tink is telling at you. She may be little, but she's feisty, and she knows how to tell people what she needs. It's good to be compliant and polite. It's good to listen and empathize and agree with others' point of view most of the time. But sometimes, you must stand up for yourself and say what you need to say. Your opinion matters. It may not be right, it may not be popular, but it's yours. And you should be able to voice it. This may be the time to allow yourself a small rant. The man that made this deck is Brian Froud. And they say Brian does not feel that a day is complete without at least one rant. It doesn't have to be a big screaming fit. Just a voicing of your opinion will do. It must at this point, I must at this point add that if you are living with anyone else, a rant a day may become very tiresome. So don't be surprised if that person rants back at you a little. Of course, if you're living with a cat or a dog, they're always good listeners and won't mind hearing your opinion many times a day. So what I'm actually hearing from this is that go rant to the fairies. Tell them your complaint. Tell them everything that is going on with you. Go sit by a tree and just pour it out. Just pour it out and allow Tink to actually be there with you because she's supporting this fairy, this feisty little fairy paired with this elven knight is helping you seriously shed some things that are keeping you away from your actual power, your authentic power, and venting, complaining, and just releasing that is not always a bad thing. Like one of the things that it said is like, ranting to your friends nonstop. Yeah, they're all gonna get tired of it. In fact, nobody, I'm sure you're even tired of your own complaining. I know I'm tired of my own complaining. I don't even want to complain about the things that I want to complain about anymore. It's just too tiring for my own ears to listen to my own thoughts. So give it to the fairies. Give it to the fairies. Now let's take a look at 37, which is the fairy of naughtiness. This is all so interesting. This is a crazy moon, guys. Okay. Lighten up, mischief, misrule. Sometimes you just have to be naughty. Now, being naughty isn't about being bad. Being naughty can be a wonderful release. The fairy of naughtiness asks you to step outside of your boundaries for a moment and do something unexpected. She dares you. Well, you can see that by the way that she's looking at you. Very similar to the Tink energy we've got. To change the energy of a situation by doing one thing that will tilt the universe just a tiny little bit. Remember the part about changing the future, that you have the power to change the future by your actions? Sometimes you can change that energy just by thinking. Naughty thoughts can lighten a situation without anyone else having to know about it. As you look at her, I'm sure an idea will come to mind. Observe too that she is connected above and below. The energy of the universe runs through her and connects her to everything. She is part of the universal glue that holds everything together. If you don't acknowledge her, if you just ignore her, you may become a target of her own naughtiness. She's very good at stealing things, losing wallets, and misplacing important letters and important thoughts. So when she looks like she's going to be if it looks like it's going to be one of those days and little things go wrong, Acknowledge the fairy of naughtiness and get her back on her side. On your side. Oh my goodness, I'm fumbling. She just wants to play. All right. So what I am starting to put together from all these different bits is that first of all, this Libra moon, and I emphasize the lib with liberation, liberation um of this moon. It is deliberately coming, this activation is coming through this veil, and the fairy realm is really supercharging this energy with being like, it's time to actually like step into more of your power, that your power is beautiful and it has the ability to shape and change the world. And one of the things that it's time to do is actually go ahead and allow all this pent up stuff to just like come through. But with the fairy of naughtiness, it's and paired with the elven knight, it's not so much breaking rules to be bad, or especially with this war thing happening, of with the just the timing of this. It's not so much about running out aggressively hurting something. It's about releasing all of this pent up energy that is in us, being mirrored by events that are taking place outside of us. And if we actually do the releasing ourselves, if we actually give ourselves permission to have that little temper tantrum out in the woods and just let all of that naughtiness out, give it an outlet, give it a portal. And I'm saying the eclipse is that portal. Allow it to release the pressure. Then what happens is that like more of our leadership and our ability to hold space, it'll just naturally be there. And you as a microcosm of of you're one tiny piece of a very complex and amazing puzzle that we all live here on earth. And every time one individual person does healing, or in this case throws their little naughty rant, um in a way in which is healing and uplifting to you and not damaging to others, because that's really not the point, then you're actually changing the trajectory of future, and allowing more of that beauty and balance. Libra again is all about balance, allowing more of that balance to come in. And so the fairies, naughty as they are, like I absolutely love the fairy realm because um they actually see the sacredness in throwing the holy temper tantrum, and that even the strongest leaders charging in on their the steed, and I'm thinking with a fairy, it would be a stag, marching in. That fairy probably had a temper tantrum just moments before taking center stage and looking all regal and stuff. Like fairies just, they allow their emotions to come out and out. The flip side of Libra, and since this is an eclipse, it happens on the nodes, right? I hope that I'm saying that right, but it happens very close to the nodes of the moon. I want to double check that I am saying that accurately. So while I'm talking to you, I want to make sure that I'm saying that. The nodes of the moon. Yes. So it happens very closely to the nodes of the moon. And right now, the node of the moon, the north node, is in Aries. And so we're already doing this balancing act where we come into balance with this like warrior fighting for the sake of fighting, and then the peacemaker, which is Libra. And so finding the balance of all of your people pleasing, and how do you please yourself, and coming into the middle of that, releasing all the charged talons of the voices and things around you. So Let's go ahead and pull from the Starseed Oracle. Let's see. Let's temper this reading a little bit. Let's see. That just came straight out. And look at this. This is what came straight out. Didn't even really need to shuffle. It just fell right out of the deck. The Cosmic Heart. So I almost want to find that passage again. Let me see if I can. I should remember to leave the book open to these things so that I can refer to them again. So bear with me a moment as I try to find it. I do remember that it said something about that the wars are won in the heart. And here we have just pulled the cosmic heart. And so this moon, it's twofold. It's happening inside and outside. So inside, oh, here we go. Yeah. How can you measure your peace? By how calm you stay in a storm. And how do you know if you're attached to something? Because it creates tension in your mind. Where are the greatest revolutions fought and won? In the heart. And do you know why you are powerful? Because you can change the future. So here we have the cosmic heart. And so, on a cosmic level, things are actually coming into neutrality. But what we are seeing, even on a global scale, is a big old temper tantrum taking place. And some of them kind of forgot the fairy of naughtiness is that reminding us do no harm. And definitely there are some pieces of the puzzle out there that are not heeding this very important piece of wisdom, because when we hurt others, really what we're doing is hurting ourselves and then causing more trauma and more healing that needs to be done for generations. And so this moon is so crucial. I don't even know how to begin with this. It is so crucial that we are doing our own, getting into our own heart. And this is in alignment with the bigger, greater forces out there. The sun and the moon, everything is pulling it into alignment for the larger talons in our human tapestry to start releasing and losing its grip. So do this for the team. Rant and let it out. And then, when you come out the other side of your sacred temper tantrum, just, then you're able to, jump onto that otherworldly horse. And the horse is the animal that moves through all dimensions and goes through all worlds. If you look at Norse mythology, um Odin rode the horse that went through all of the realms on the tree. And that is really what's happening, is that you are beating your cosmic heart through all the realms, especially when we do it in alignment with the solar eclipse. That is a potent message. And the other thing that I'm really being shown again is that our heart beats, and the heart is associated, usually we symbolize it with love. And while like our heart is beating this rhythm of love throughout our life, from the moment we're born until actually before we're even born, we have our heartbeat. Um, all the way into the moment that we say goodbye to this earth plane. And that heart is beating our divine love, our rhythm, our voice. And I'm starting to lose this because I started thinking about heartbeat and journeying back into your before you were born, to actually listen to your heartbeat before you were born. I don't know why that's coming up, but it is. But I guess to get back on point is that this heartbeat of yours, the love that is being pumped through your blood vessels on a daily, hourly, minutely basis does not have an agenda for you. It solely just pumps for the sake of being alive. Like your heart is in love with being alive. And your heart is not pumping all of these, like, hey, do this now, do this now, do this. It gives you ideas and suggestions, and it gives you potentials, and your heart constantly supplies you. When we really, really listen to our heart, it gives you the source of your creativity and gives you new ways to look at old ideas. And so that again is what's going on a cosmic level. This love beat that's rippling through the cosmos, because this is just one tiny piece of the entire puzzle. We've got the eclipse all happening here, but that also has its ripple throughout our solar system and our galaxy in ways that I honestly don't know, because I am just a, like the Who's on the Whoville. I'm just a tiny Who on the Whoville, and so are you. And we're all doing this together. So, yeah, this is really beautiful. Um, let's see. I want to pull one more card. What do I want to pull these? Lately, these have been my cards lately. The Starseed and the Angels and Ancestors card. So I feel kind of, especially with this being an eclipse in October, I'm feeling very strong, lots of support and love coming from all of those who have passed beyond the veil, those that have already done this human gig and have gone on to the other side. And so the sun, oh, look at that. The sun. Enjoy success and happiness. And so this is this is a time where it is sun and moon combined, where like the moon, and then you've got this radiating sun, and then this feeling of having the support and love from those that have crossed over the veil already, and that this is that cosmic heartbeat, that it really is just the illumination of the inner sun. And so when that is pumping through your veins, you've got like boom, 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 boom. You've got the heartbeat, the sun. And so we really are just being, oh, I feel like the love of so many ascended masters right now, just shining all of their light as bright as they possibly can, just beaming it from every single pore of their ethereal being. And it's just being like shown out of you. And it's interesting to use the word shown, because then it implies that we have seen, that we can see new ways of solving old problems. And a lot of these things that we are needing to temper tantrum about are old problems. And that these beautiful and ancestral and ascended masters, these beings that have already lived their human walk and have gone over, they are shining lights to illuminate different potentials, different ideas, different ways to use our creativity without ever needing to hurt anyone else or fight ever again. That really the struggle and the fight is can be over if we choose it to be. And so we're seeing these things take, run amok because there are still there are still masses out there, masses and masses of people out there ranting and raging and doing their naughtiness, but on such a scale that it is a lack of leadership, a lack of power. And so you're being invited in to that close-knit group of ascended masters and those that have crossed over the veil, that you're being embraced by this beautiful sunshine, this, just bask in that glow. And then realize, like, you don't have to work hard to shine. You already shine. It's just a matter of just feeling that, just knowing that you shine and getting out of your way. So I think I will leave it at that. This is a very, very beautiful, powerful new moon solar eclipse that is fully supporting us, as we can tell from this reading. And we have the beautiful forces of nature. We've got the fairy realm. We've got the literal sun itself and the cosmic heartbeat that really ties all of this together with love and grace. All of that is supporting us to come back and loosen our attachments on things that we see out in the world that are draining our energy and causing us harm, and putting you back into your heart space, that Libran balance of external, internal, coming back into balance, and the balance is your heart. So that Venusian Libran connected to Venus, like it's all like this is all making such perfect sense. So power to you guys in all the most beautiful ways. Um just use this beautiful eclipse to with new moon, by the way, it's like you start something fresh. And so what are you going to start fresh with this beautiful heartbeat of yours that is so connected to everyone who loves you and that wants to see you thrive and shine? So, on that note, I'm off to go eat some lunch and say hello to my family that just came in the door. I can hear them all arriving. And yeah, I love to share my readings and astrology with everyone. If you feel like you would like to know more about your stars and the ways in which you are connected to the cosmos, I do readings. I love doing them. And I always find out such magical information that I share with you. Um, and of course, I do oracle card readings where we dive more into that ambiguous Akashic field, and maybe give some clarity to things that you needed some clarity around. So, as always, I wish you all the best for this beautiful moon, and I will see you next time. Bye.